don't wander in thee. The direction of the eye, so misleading. The affection of the soul, nauseously quick. I don't question her existence. I just question our modern needs. She don't wander in there, don't wander in there. Ooh, I will walk with my hands bound. I will walk with my face blood. I will walk with my shadow flag into your goddamn guidance. Welcome to another episode, a very tired episode of the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you again. A great place to start is right here. Donnie has been looking extra orange lately. Have you noticed? I have. Maybe JD threw a little extra Cheeto powder on it. Perhaps. Could that be why? Who knows why the literal Antichrist leaves his house in orange face every single day, except for when he's in Detroit and wants to look a little more ethnic. Then he goes with the muddy brown. But lately, in his full glory as Caesar, Antichristo, he's really donning that extra orange, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, here's Leon. This is one of the first things I saw today. Leon breaking the law publicly. Let's read about it. Leon Scum has updated his post with new language, apparently after being informed that his previous tweet was evidence that he was committing a state felony. Screenshots live forever. And yes, if you're a billionaire, you can literally attempt or commit a literal felony. And then you just correct it later. And everyone's like, okay, he's a billionaire. He's allowed to do that. But if you or I tried to pull this bullshit, they'd lock us under the motherfucking jail, okay? So this was the first message. And, Leon's done this before. This isn't new. And everybody knows what the fat cunt is doing. He's not fooling anyone. On Sunday night, I will give a talk in Wisconsin. Entrance is limited to those who have voted in the Supreme Court election. I will also personally hand over 2 checks for $1 million each in appreciation for you taking the time to vote. This is super important. No, this is super corrupt, son. That's where we at. Naked, in your face corruption. I begged everyone, the oligarchy, Everyone. I said, do you want your country to be Russia? Then don't vote for this if you don't want that, unless you think you man enough to live in that kind of world. And guess what? No one is man enough. Because no one faster than a bullet or an open window, son. Nobody. I don't care how bad you think you are. So no one's really bad enough to live in that kind of environment. You know, like Russia is exactly today. And you say one wrong thing and your neighbor reports you or whatever. Next thing you know, be ye general, scientist, basketball player, big and strong, no matter what you is. You do the wrong thing, out a window. That's the world you're in now. It's too late to go back. I'm sorry. So here's Leon literally breaking the law right in front of everyone. Exactly like when Donnie Shitbags went on live television and said, hey, Russia, if you're listening, release those emails on my opponent. Right in front of everybody, committed a horrendous crime, literally asking a foreign government to help him. And then they did shortly after that. Just to let everybody know that was a literal communication right in front of everybody. But, you know, he was a millionaire or whatever running for president. So, you know, we just sweep that under the rug, literally asking a foreign government on live television for help. An enemy government. We've been in a war with Russia since 1945, son. I don't know if you know that, acknowledge that, or understand that, but we have been. Be war declared or not. We've still been at war with them. You understand how that works? They just don't say we're at war. That's all. Anyway, so we're Russia now. So we have Leon literally breaking the law, bribing people to vote a certain way, literally. And I'll never believe he gives anyone $1 million check of his own money until I see a bank statement from a motherfucker that I can verify. Not just something posted on the internet. Until I see $1 million in a cracker's bank account, I ain't believing he's handing $1 million to anybody. And it's not just a PR stunt. Or he got someone else's money. Leon don't do that shit. Leon puts his hand out for welfare from you. That's why he's so rich. Did you know that? You gave him that money. Via welfare. And then now here's the clarified once, you know, the lawyers and everyone pointed out that he literally broke the law and he knew it beforehand. Now he's going to pretend like, oh, let me just change the wording so I can break the law via a technicality. That's the Donnie Krasnoff era. Let's find some legal loophole for our fucking scumbaggery. Because we're all born of straight fucking Satan. And that's all we do is grift, lie, cheat, steal with our every fucking breath and hate. So let's read Leon's legal technicality way to break the fucking law, since we already know what the intent was via the first message where he literally did break the law. On Sunday night, I will give a talk in Wisconsin. To clarify a previous post, entrance is limited to those who have signed the petition in opposition to activist judges. I will also hand over checks for $1 million to 2 people to be spokesmen for the petition. Now all of a sudden they're spokesmen for the petition. I guess that's the legal way around bribery to vote a certain way. Why do you think he's doing that? If he's willing to hand over $1 million as someone else's money, or not $1 million at all, and it's just a PR stunt, but he's willing to lead you to believe he's handing over $2 million to 2 random rubes that voted the way he wanted them to vote. Do you think there's a way bigger agenda behind that, where much more money and things Leon wants comes to him via this little stunt? Do you think maybe that has something to do with it? I do. And we know what Leon and Donnie want. The beast system. No borders. Globalism. owning Canada, owning Greenland, owning Central America, Panama, owning Gaza. Trump is removing people who came here legally, and MAGA is applauding. So it really wasn't ever about their legal status, was it? It is all about the hate. Indeed, a lot of people got taken and shipped off that had green cards, that had visas, all kinds. In other words, they had permission to be here. Yet they got snagged. So is it really about just illegals coming over the border, or is it about something greater, perhaps? Right now, it's really about, you best not criticize Israel as a Muslim in this country, in college or something. Or are we rounding you up? According to Rubio, that's, starting a tearing up campuses. If you print an article critical of Israel and you're a Muslim. They've already grabbed several of you folks. They had visas. That doesn't sound like just the illegals that you guys were all talking about at the beginning. That sounds like a new group's been added. Well, many groups have been added since then. Exactly what I predicted, what I said would happen. And don't worry, maybe some of you will get added. Some of you that voted for this. A lot of you have lost your jobs already. So it seems there may just be another agenda, and the illegal immigration and fentanyl bullshit is just an excuse to get a door open. A door that leads to anyone that criticizes Israel gets thrown in the gulag. Especially if you're a Muslim student on a visa. So again, one of the main agendas is we have to gain the confidence of Israel. Kind of tells you where it's all going to end up, doesn't it? And I said this way before this shit started happening. For one, I said it would happen when the first van full of fucking abject scumbags destined for the motherfucking lake to go grab somebody off the street in masks. It's over. This country's over without due process. It's over. They've already done it. We watched it on film. We watched someone chastise them. Why do you have masks on? What are you doing? Kidnapping that person? Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They kidnapped a legal resident of this country. And by legal resident, I mean they had a visa to be here. They had permission. No due process, no crime charged. America is over. Your children's future, over. I'm not saying it for fun. So where does that tell you that this is all going to end up? In the Holy Land, son. Why do you think they're targeting, people that criticize Israel immediately? And I thought you guys said the liberals were all about that. Doing stuff, that Nazi kind of stuff. So that's where all roads lead. That's the final destination. The Holy Land. You saw the golden statues of Donnie in the commercial. Do you think that was just a game or a joke? Or just a random idea? Something that complete and thorough? Do you think it's a game when they send JD to Greenland? They're showing you what they're going to do. They're going to take Greenland militarily. God knows how they're going to handle Canada. Gaza's already a foregone conclusion. It's already leveled. They're already moving out the Palestinians, or excuse me, the Gazans. They're already finding locations. That's going to happen. They showed you it was going to happen. They told you in advance, but via that commercial. The whole thing, the Trump resort, the temple, they didn't say that yet, but don't worry, they will. That's where all these roads lead. And the final task or ultimate goal of this again is worship of a thing called the beast, which is embodied in Donnie shitbags. Worship of him, which then ends up via him worship of the dragon, which is Satan. Sounds crazy, right? I know, but you're living in it right fucking now. All those documentaries on History Channel, you know, the one where they picked out Obama to look just like a guy that looks just like Obama to be the Antichrist. Meanwhile, it was a fat white guy with orange makeup on who was the Antichrist the whole fucking time. Remember that History Channel? You racist fucks? I do. I think a lot of people noticed that when you did your little end times documentaries during Obama's term. You picked someone who looked just like Obama. I wonder why you did that. Anyway, I think you get the point. And you've seen a lot of fingers be pointed. You've seen a lot of names come up over the years. A lot of you have let your bias pick the names for you. I never picked a name once until Donnie Shitbags came along. That's when I got the itch and I got the feeling. Pepe Frog Beast, 666 hand sign. That means a lot to them, means nothing to me. White Nationalist Movement, 666 Fifth Avenue. Concentration camps. Golden statues of an American president on the Holy Land. Does any of this sound normal to you? It's not normal. Don't worry. You're not crazy. The world is getting crazier at the speed of light. This is going to be the ultimate crazy ever expressed on this planet. The ultimate evil ever expressed. That's how the story goes. It's not good. Anyway, I digress way too much into the spiritual aspects. Trump's executive order tonight has illegally canceled union contracts for 67% of federal workforce and 75% of unionized federal employees, roughly 700,000 union workers. Well, if you union, and that matters to you, you should never vote Republican. How any of you union members ever voted Republican in your life, I don't even understand that. You just might as well have bent over and somehow kicked your own self in the ass. You never vote GOP if you're a union man, ever. And now we have the maximum expression of right-wing fascist GOP. Donnie Shitbags. Donnie has always despised unions and been a union buster. So has Leon. There are many, many articles about it. All of you rubes know this. So again, how any union man, especially in government, could have voted for Leon and Donnie, because you knew it was a package deal. Don't pretend like you didn't. They told you everything they were going to do beforehand, especially with you government people. We are going to fire everybody. They let you know in advance. They also let you know in advance that they straight up union busters. They always have been. So how any union man could vote for this, I don't understand it logically. But then there's illogically the whole racist angle, the whole brainwashing angle, as if the right wing in this country has any link to Christianity whatsoever, if that's your excuse. They the furthest thing from Jesus I've ever seen. And again, 80% taking Russian money. I promise you. That whole party almost has sold out to our enemy. Donnie Krasnov, literal Russian asset since 87. That's what you got. That's what you voted for, and you knew it ahead of time. You knew Vlad has his hand all the way up Donnie's ass. You knew this. But your hatred, your bias, your brainwashing won out. Now you've lost your country again. You've lost your future, your children's future. The future of the whole planet, actually. It's going to be a whole new thing at the end of this. And there's going to be a lot of crying. So again, how any union man, you let your hate get in the way. It's that simple. Trump, we need Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can't. Again, people, I know a lot of you thought that Johnny just talks. And he was just talking at the beginning of all this dimensions of Greenland and making fun of Trudeau, calling him governor, 51st state. You thought those were negotiating tactics. You thought that it was just talk. It was never just talk. And, that's why I've been yelling since day one of this administration. None of this is just talk, son. It's all real. And I don't understand how at this point, after you see commercials with Trump Gaza and 40-foot Donnie Gold statues, you should understand now. They intend to do all this, and they gonna do it. And I don't know how anyone's gonna stop them. I see a few judges and people trying right now. They will put a stop to that, don't worry. They have no choice. They don't have a lot of time. April 2nd is Liberation Day. I just hope Liberation Day only has to do with tariffs. Because I have a feeling there's going to be a different kind of Liberation Day. Just like in Hitler's day when he arrested every socialist, liberal, communist, trade unionist, Those are all the people that got arrested. The liberals were the first to get arrested. What does that tell you in your little story of history? Right-wing nationalist movements are the closest thing to fascism, if not fascism, that ever was on this planet. The ideology. Again, you have the maximum expression of it now via Donnie and Leon. Once the ideology is exposed, and it's been exposed for decades, they can't win elections anymore. What's the alternative? Fascism. But we have a special story this time. The story you've been reading all your life. So we got to throw that into the fire as well, into the mix, into the pot. These two are the two you've been reading about all your life. And they're going to do the evil that's described. That's assigned to their names. You're living in that. So there's a special spiritual addition. Not that GOP politics wasn't of Satan since the beginning. Despite all your pathetic attempts to link it to Christianity. It's the most unchristian thing I've ever fucking seen. GOP politics and ideology. And you know it. But you don't care. You're brainwashed. And you're racist. And you hate people that are different than you. And that hate leads you to want to lock them up and kill them. That's where the ideology really, its core, what it is, especially now. I mean, think about like McCarthyism back in the day and stuff like that. That's all right-wing shit. Anyway. Oh, a pardon. Someone had some pardon money, obviously. Trevor Milton defrauded investors, got convicted, and now walks free thanks to a Trump pardon. Again, blatant, naked, Russia-style corruption right here. His lawyer, Brad Bondi, brother of U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi. Wow, her brother happened to be the lawyer for the guy that just got a pardon. The guy who had a lot of money and ran a company. And what I heard that he did, because I don't even know who this guy is he ran an electric truck or something down a hill as if it was actually operating and presented that to the world and, to board members, to everybody. That's straight up fraud. misrepresenting a product like that. That's what he did. And that's an expensive ass product, isn't it? A fucking semi-truck electric. So he ran it down a hill as if it was operating, turned on and driving. It wasn't. It was coasting down a fucking hill. So that's why he went to prison. So I guess he must have had the pardon money. And plus I heard he donated some heavy money to Donnie in different ways before the election. So obviously Mr. Milton had the pardon money, and plus he had a familial connection through the Bondies. So another abject fraud criminal led out by Donnie shitbags for money, obviously. So again, naked, blatant Russian-style corruption. That is your country now. The old America you knew is quite over, son. Quite over. J.D. Vance standing in Greenland, and they had to go to a place where the people are paid to listen. And if they don't listen and they step out of line, they go to the fucking brig. So JD went to a military base and the entourage because not one other soul on Greenland will allow them near them. And, that tends to happen when you talk annexation of other people's property. Communism. That shit that you rubes say you hate, that you don't even know what it is. Well, communism, they just, you got a business? Well, we take it for the good of the state. And we split the resources among the peasants, the people. That's the real idea behind communism. Does anyone actually live like that? Any country? Absolutely not. But part of the communist ideology is the ability of government to take a whole company and say, now that's our company. It's the people's company. All the resources will go communally to the people for the good of the people. Now, the idea at its core is good. But when all the money is siphoned off at the top and none of it's shared with the people, it's a horrible idea. Now, I don't like the idea of seizing people's businesses, but if you were to start a country from the origin and said in the beginning, all the businesses' profits will go to the good of the people, no one will go hungry, no one will starve, everyone will have a home and a job and blah, blah, blah. If you start from that point, I think it's a great idea. Straight up seizing people's businesses, no, I don't like that idea. But you rubes love the idea when JD and Donnie is talking about seizing Canada, a whole country, seizing Greenland, Panama Canal. You guys all think that's great. Again, how would you like if I came to your property and I had the authority and I said, you got a great property there. You got all this open extra acreage of land, no homes or nothing built on it. I want that. You don't have a problem with that, right? Well, that land of mine's worth, $8 million. That's 40 acres, man. I don't care. I want it. It's mine now. Sorry. That's what Donnie, JD, and Leon are doing, and you're applauding it. So picture it this way, rubes. Your house or whatever you own. Picture someone coming and taking all of it away, or half of it, or a third, or whatever. That doesn't sound good. You don't like the sound of that, do you? I know you don't. That's what Donnie and Leon are doing to Greenland and Canada, etc. So you should expect some real animosity. You'd get real pissed if I took half your shit, right? If I had the authority to. You'd get mad as fuck. You'd want to kill me. I know you would. What do you think the people of Canada and Greenland want to do to us? So here's JD in Greenland on their soil, son. He's saying these things. The president said we have to have Greenland. We cannot just ignore this place. We cannot just ignore the president's desires. Oh, yes, we can. He's not Caesar. He's not a king. And America has no fucking right to annex jack shit. It's ridiculous. The president's desires. Again, do you think you're not in the apocalypse, son? when phrases like that are uttered, when sycophants like J.D. Vance, who's changed his name 3 times, goes wherever the wind blows. Total opportunist. Most likely gay on top of it. Probably hanging out with Thea late at night, I imagine. But whatever, that's not the point. The point is he's in a family values party and they preach against gays while so many of them are gay. I despise that kind of hypocrisy. My point is, the way he's representing himself is not really himself. He doesn't seem to dig his wife very much. He talks about his wife and child the way Donnie talks about his wife and children often, as if he doesn't know them. That tells me something about JD specifically. Plus, Mr. Thale is his literal sponsor in more ways than one, I'm sure. You think JD wears that eye makeup for nothing? I have a feeling Pete likes it. Just a thought. So while he's on Greenland soil, we can't just ignore the president's desire. He's saying in a roundabout way, yeah, we're going to take your country. We're going to take this piece of land. Literally is what he's saying here. State Department Spock's Tammy Bruce just blatantly lies and says that students are getting visas revoked for illegal activity. Rumesa Ozturk was not charged with a crime. I believe Rumesa is the woman that was kidnapped off the street as the gentleman was filming it, saying, "Why are you all in masks? Why are you kidnapping that woman? What is going on?" As they all hung their heads in fucking shame, except for 3 of them that had to get a quick look at the man that exposed what scumbags they are destined for the lake, lest they repent and turn away. But I know they won't. Then they might lose that house and the F-150 or whatever they bought with the money from terrorizing people in masks. Because of Caesar. In other words, I don't care what you were before. Now you're brown shirts and you know it. You know how I know you know it? I saw you all feel the shame and anger of getting exposed when that man said to you, "Why are you all masked up? Are you kidnapping that woman?" Oof, they were boiling. That demon inside them was boiling, son. 3 of them had to get a look at the man. So yes, Rumesa Ozturk didn't do anything wrong. She wrote an article. That's it. She wrote an article. No crimes charged. There goes, who's this hag? Tammy Bruce's philosophy and theory and thesis on this matter. Here's JD again. JD Vance rails against Denmark from Greenland. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people in Greenland. Again, this couch fucking jerk-off is standing in Greenland telling Denmark they assholes. This person has a comment about it. Railing against Denmark from Greenland is like insulting the host while still eating their food. Indeed. This man is standing there, a representative of another country. He is not wanted there. No one wants to see him. That's why he had to go to a military base where they're paid to listen. Otherwise, they get fucking court-martialed. No one else wanted them there. And he's standing there in the nicest of possible ways, telling the people that we're going to take your country. Can you fucking believe it? Did you see this under Biden? Did you see this under any of the presidents before these people? No, you didn't. Not like this. This is different, son. This is what I've been trying to tell people for 10 years now, since 2015, and I saw the whole movement coming out of nowhere. That made no logical sense. This doesn't make logical sense. This is World War II era type shit we are seeing. Annexation talk, speeches in places where you're not wanted, where you're literally standing on their soil saying we're about to take this. And that we have to, appreciate or abide Caesar's desires. The word desires of one man was used. This is not normal. This is not politics, no matter how fucking much you want it to be. Again, the audacity. He was asked by the reporter, I watched all these clips, is Donnie Shitbags going to use military force to take Greenland? Here's JD, the couchfucker's answer. The president has said clearly he doesn't think that military force is going to be necessary, son, did you just say? He just said out loud in his own way that, well, if military force is necessary, yes, the United States is prepared to do that. That's what he just verified right there. On their soil, this cunt says this. One more time. The president has said clearly he doesn't think that military force is going to be necessary, but he absolutely believes that Greenland is an important part of the security, not just for the U.S., but for the world, and of course the people of Greenland too. This has to happen. This is not just talk, son. Again, you heard Donnie earlier. Oh, it's going to happen. You're hearing JD. This has to happen. You're hearing him say, literally out of his own couch fucking mouth, he doesn't think that military force is going to be necessary. This is 2025. Again, do you understand you're in the apocalypse? Do you understand World War III is right over the horizon with this bullshit? And annexing Canada talk, taking the Panama Canal talk. We literally saw text messages from the whole fucking cabinet the other day about the plan, and Stephen Miller in there too, about the plan to extort Europe and Egypt using the Suez. The Israelis mentioned about 3 times in the bullshit. Again, they're always in the calculus here. The Israelis helped them with intelligence for that Houthi bombing, by the way. They don't like that we know that, though. So part of that whole Suez extortion plan, well, Israel's involved in that too. And by involved, I mean Leon and Donnie have plans for Israel via that waterway as well. The Gaza plan, you saw it. They made a commercial. Again, maybe these evil Satanists, they need to tell us in advance what they're going to do, because they've been telling us every single thing they do. They've told us in advance in their way, for those of us that know how to see it. And just simple read between the lines. Again, J.D. Vance is standing in Greenland talking about military force. They have a plan, and they've had it for a long time. And they're going to execute. Not just plans, they're going to execute literally. Again, the audacity of this. Imagine if a leader of another country came to our country and said this about us. Are you going to take America by military force? Well, my dear leader, Caesar, he doesn't think that military force is going to be necessary to take over the United States. But, if it is, then we know what to do. Again, put yourself in these people's place. Put yourself in the place of that woman that just got kidnapped off the street. Because it could be you, son. That's what fascism does. So many of you are learning that the hard way. What I've been screaming at you people about for 10 years, now that you've lost your jobs, etc., trading partners, farms, whatever's going on as a result of Donnie shitbags. 700 point market decline today. I told you the second he reannounced tariffs, the market would go right back down. Watch in a few days. Oh, never mind. Just manipulating the Dow like a motherfucker. People getting rich off this shit. So again, he's in Greenland talking about, oh, well, dear leader might use military force or he might not. It depends whether you just give us this entire huge piece of land to exploit. Because Leon needs minerals, man. And he's got a technocratic Nazi sci-fi map to fulfill. These sick sociopath fucks. And every country on that map has been named. For the North American Empire. For the Antichrist. And the false prophet. And I imagine if the empire lasted long enough, one of them would kill the other one. Or maybe the one of them will kill the other one. That's what happens. There can't be two leaders. Hitler made sure there wasn't two leaders forever. And again, this is all based on Hitler. Every move they make. I've seen all this before. A shame you haven't. So many of you out there. Here's Vance on Canada. They just don't have the cards. There's no way that Canada can win a trade war with the United States. Canada wins every time Donnie threatens tariffs. Because we need their lumber. We need their gas. We need a whole bunch of products that Canada has. And Canada has a lot more empty forest space where no one lives. And they don't mind chopping down the trees. And it's better lumber than we have here in America. And, the really defining or overarching factor that determines Canada wins every trade war against us is we're a fat fuck over-bloated country. We are Rome. We are New Rome with all the Colosseums and bullshit and bread and circus like has never been before. Nothing's even come close to this monstrosity that's been created here. We cannot survive without foreign supplies. Lumber, gas, minerals, gold, diamonds, all kinds of shit. Why? Because we are New Rome. We are over-bloated and fat as hell. That's why we need Canada, Saudi Arabia, other places. They don't need us, son. We need them. So Canada wins every trade war against us automatically. And hey, if they want to, they could shut off electric supply to a whole section of the northern United States. I don't know why they didn't do it already. Because all this game playing, I'd be about tired of it. I'd be like, we're just going to cut ties, business ties. We're shutting off electric starting on this state. You figure it out, cunts. Annexation talk, calling our leader governor. Fuck everybody. That's how I'd treat it. Because I would know it was going to World War III anyway. Because you can see what these sick fucks are about to do. They tell us every day. Right here again. Where was the comment? The president has said clearly he doesn't think that military force is going to be necessary regarding Greenland. So where do you think this is going? To war. That's where it's going. To military action. Again, I told you this way in the beginning. First day. Told you where this was going. And that they just ain't talking. Does it still seem like talk? Now that JD's in Greenland given a speech to people that are paid to listen. And his wife got, ran out of there earlier. Because no one wants to see them. There's a reason he's there. They're showing you what they're going to do again. They gauge the reaction. The reaction is, we hate your guts. What's next? Military action. That's the only option. So Denmark, your naval ships and stuff you have by Greenland, you better put more there. And you better put some real weapons there. Donnie talks about the threat being Russian and Chinese ships, non-existent Russian and Chinese ships that are around Greenland. The only threat I see to Greenland is the United States. Not Russia, not China. America. They're the ones talking annexation, son. Nobody else. But back to Canada. Yes, Canada wins every trade war with us, and they could make us hurt real bad if they wanted to. And if I was a leader in Canada, I'd already be at that point. I'd be like, until Donnie Shitbags is out of office, no business with America. We'll find other people. And if your business closes because of that, the government will subsidize you so you don't starve and get you back on your feet. That's how I'd explain it to the public. And because I wouldn't be playing this back and forth bullshit. This Dow Jones manipulation, this Antichrist game. Because it's going to World War III anyway, no matter what anyone does. This is the Anticristo. He's got plans, man. And what did I tell you he is at his essence? War, division, chaos, worship. That's what he's here to do. What would an Antichrist reign be without World War III? It kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Of course it does. It's in the story. One of the greatest battles or gatherings for a battle ever. Right before they get all trodden like a wine press. But I digress again. Let's get back to the couch fucker. Denmark has not kept peace and devoting the resources necessary to keep this base. That's a ridiculous lie. To keep our troops, and in my view, to keep the people of Greenland safe from a lot of aggressive incursions from Russia, from China, and from other nations. We haven't kept Greenland safe from jack shit. And again, all Greenland is to the United States of America up to this point, all it was a base we could use to take on Russia if they dared cross us. That's all it's for. Again, we were never there to protect Greenland. That's irrelevant to the mission. We were never in Europe to protect Europe. That's irrelevant to the mission. The mission is keep an eye on Vlad, and if he fucks with us, we got bases in Greenland, Alaska, all kind of places right on outside his border. We ready to take you out if you dare step over the line with us. That's what's been going on since 1945. And we won that fight. But the ultimate fight, Vlad won via you rubes, convincing you to go along with all this via talking points, trolling, troll farms, etc. He won that battle, the internal, the mental, the KGB battle of minds. Vlad won in spades. Got a Russian asset as president, Donnie fucking Krasnov. We won the physical battle, the economic battle, the positional wartime, the chess pieces on the chessboard battle. But he won here. Because you people are stupid. And you know who I'm talking to. And it's over for this country, by the way. He won the final, the checkmate. Unless Donnie turns on him. Which he probably will, but I don't know when that's going to happen. How soon? Anyway. This is Larry Kudlow. He's the Fox business guy. And I'm noticing a lot of Fox people especially are really pissed at Donnie with these market drops. I mean, they're pissed. Even Ducey's son was in the White House talking shit about these market drops. So people are losing money that are associated with Fox, obviously, and they mad as fuck. And Kudlow did not hide it. I watched the little clip. And he says, woo, folks, this is a tough way to end the week. Cuts to Kudlow. Kudlow. So markets crash over 700 points today after a bad inflation report, more tariff confusion. Oh, and by the way, Republicans really going to raise taxes? And you just should have saw the deflated, like, pissed off just can't believe this is all happening. Again, everyone thought they had a leash on the Antichrist, including Fox News type people and Fox News itself. No one has a leash on him. That's the beast, son. And he'll come off the leash when he's ready, even with Vlad. So even Kudlow's like deflated as fuck on Fox News over Donnie's antics. And I don't want to hear the inflation report. I know exactly why the market went down. The fucking tariffs. I said it when he instituted them again for the 5th time in 2 months. I knew the market would go back down. Here we are, 700 more points down. I assume in the next couple of days, maybe he'll announce he'll change his mind. And Donnie and his people will have made millions or billions because of the steep decline and steep incline. Total market manipulation is a huge part of this. And he's even got Fox News pissed at him. Putin on Greenland. It would be a great mistake to believe that this is just some eccentric talk of the new American administration. Nothing of the kind, in fact. Let me remind you that by 1869, the American papers laughed at the purchase of Alaska. The deal was called folly. And Alaska was bought, wasn't it? So why couldn't this annexation of Greenland happen? Vlad's saying it can happen. Vlad's on the same page as Donnie and the Reich. That means we shouldn't be on the same page with Donnie and the Reich. If Vlad likes it, we shouldn't like it. Vlad is one of the most evil incarnations that's ever lived. So Vlad's on board with Donnie Krasnov's plan. But again, there's a lot of powerful people. There's people in news agencies. All of you think you can keep a leash on this beast. And I've been saying it for years. No one can keep a leash on this beast. They thought they could keep a leash on Adolf Hitler. All you cunt oligarchs back in the day, newspaper people, all the people that thought they mattered and they were important and that they could control the situation, they could handle it. Isn't that always the creed of the rich man? Because they're wearing the best clothes. They got the nicest house. They got a pretty wife or 18 mistresses. They got a fast car. They got everything life could. They walk upright. They walk proud in their $8,000 suit. And they all think they're special. And they got a leash on that shit. Then a junkyard dog comes along and shows them all, you ain't nothing. And snaps the leash and bites them in the fucking ass. And there goes their composure. If not a lot more. Here's a question to JD. What did you mean when you said in that thread that the president wasn't aware that his directions for Yemen were inconsistent with his message on Europe? Vance, I didn't quite say that. I think that's a slight misunderstanding of what I said. No, Vance literally second-guessed, dear leader. In the Signal app chat, I presented it all to you. Now he's trying to rein it back in because they're calling him out for disagreeing with dear leader. And he got real scared at that question, and he denied he even went that route. Oh no, he was worried about Saudi oil. Obviously, there's some money in it for him somewhere. And he's worried about some deal he's got going. And he's second-guessing the Reich. He had to rein that back in real quick. I didn't quite say that. I think that's a slight misunderstanding of what I said. No, it isn't. I read it to you. He second-guessed the Reich. He second-guessed dear leader. Now he's trying to run away from it. He got a little uppity in the Signal app chat. That's what happened. Now he's reining it back in. Israel's Mossad is asking African countries such as Somalia and South Sudan to take in Palestinian refugees it plans to expel from Gaza. Well, now you know what the plan is for Gaza, even though we already knew. My point is, the plan is still on the front burner, and it's piping hot, and they literally asking places, different places, will you take these refugees? What does that tell you? That tells you the Gazans will be removed. Guaranteed. They just looking for where to throw them. And, maybe if they throw the right check at somebody, that seems to be the routine. Throw a check at some evil empire like El Salvador, and they'll take anybody you want and terrorize them all day long until they're dead. And, get them out of your hair. So I assume that's what Israel is doing. Going to these, horribly poor countries and be like, yeah, we'll give you like 5 million if you take this couple million Gazans for us. Take them off our hands. So we can build that resort, Trump Gaza, and that temple. Again, they're asking Somalia and South Sudan to take these people. Already in the works. It's over, Gaza. I'm sorry. Again, and all you people that protest voted for that issue. Well, now you've got Muslim women and men being grabbed off the street for literally just critiquing Israel, and you have 2 million Gazans gone. And a Trump Gaza with 40-foot gold Donnie statues. Are you proud of yourself? You ended your cause, literally, via your spite. Ended it forever. It's done. You ended this country. You ended the world in a lot of ways. Like I said, this time, everyone, the choice they made, it's going to come to their doorstep. There's no avoiding it. Ontario measles case count hits 572, up by more than 100 in the past week. So just because I haven't been talking about the measles doesn't mean it went away. It sounds like it's still getting worse, and the numbers are still going up in a lot of places. Trump seems unable to come up with the word criminal and instead calls them people of crime. This is what you've elected. People of crime. And I have to ask you this question, Rubes, or whoever, non-Rubes, whoever you are. Donnie Krasnoff is a convicted felon. So does that make Donnie a person of crime? Or does that make Donnie one of the people of crime? I would say yes, it does. Anyway, he had a little dementia moment. He couldn't remember the word criminal. And he said people of crime. Donnie is one of the people of crime. He would know people of crime. Oh my God, people, what have you done? Oh, here's the reporters asking Donnie why he pardoned that Trevor fraud guy. What was your reason for pardoning Trevor Milton? Trump, highly recommended by many people. They say it was very unfair. It's always many people are saying. Nope. If you need a translation for what Donnie Shitbags just said there, well, he had the pardon money. Why wouldn't I pardon him? He had the 2 million. Why wouldn't I? This woman, this story's a few days old. Wasn't even going to talk about it, but it keeps getting mentioned more and more. And I think I do really need to kind of keep track and keep reminding people that this is going on every day, all day. And we're only hearing from the ones that are ballsy enough to admit, now that the shit has hit the fan, that they voted for this. They chose this 3 times. So this is a woman who lost her job, and according to her, she had outstanding performance reviews. How many of you idiots have said that to try and connote the idea that you're special and you're better than other workers? You're not. You're just another number, and you learn that the hard way. You're just another stepping stone for Donnie and Leon and the Fourth Reich. How does it feel after you betrayed your country by voting for this and betrayed yourself by voting for this? Again, I know the reasons you all did it. We don't need to hear them. But again, like I said, this time you don't get to vote evil and walk away. This time, for everyone, there are consequences. The most dire and severe of consequences. This woman lost her job, and according to her, again, outstanding performance reviews, as if that matters to any CEO, corporation, anyone. They would cut the best worker just to give the board an extra $100 a piece at the end of the quarter. They don't care about anyone ever. Even all of you that think you're so special and talented, and you made the company or the job your whole entire life, you got nothing else. You made sure you aced every performance review, never called out, did all the responsible things, kissed all the asses, backstabbed everybody to get that promotion, and then they just axe you as if you're fraud, waste, and abuse. You know, what you think everyone else is. Even you cunts that lost your job when they showed you you ain't nothing but garbage to them. That you ain't special. How many supervisory position people have we heard from so far? Probationary supervisors that think they better than other people because they got a bitch-ass promotion once. Well, apparently, Leon and Donnie don't think you're better than anyone. You're just another number that gets more money in their bank account by raiding your budget. That's all. You're gone. You're nothing. You're forgotten. And again, you all chose this. They didn't lie about it, especially the government workers. You saw Leon and Donnie saying, yeah, we're going to come in and fire everybody. Revenge tour, man. You know what it is. The Rubes thought the revenge tour was not going to include them since 2015. Guess what? It included them the entire fucking way. And a lot of you saw or suffered this horror during his first term. Lost your farm, house, job, whatever happened to you. And then you voted for it again. So you guys must be sadists or something, I imagine. Quickly, a self-identified MAGA junkie says she regrets her vote and has taken down her Trump sign after she was fired by Doge. If only you had taken it down and saw the light prior to this election. Had a real change of heart before it came knocking on your door. If only more of you, the ones that all see the light after they get shit fucking canned, if only you saw the light prior. Guess what? You'd still have your fucking job and your shitty little house and your shitty little car and everything you covet. Instead, the problem is you covet hate more. And you could have voted for the black lady, and all of you fucking rubes that think you're special, that got your special probationary supervisory positions, that takes you back to day one, where you got to do a 90-day probation now again, as if you're new. If you just would have voted for the black lady, you'd still have your coveted thing you gave up everything for your whole life. You'd have your coveted promotion, job, benefits, perks, cushy office job. Gone because you thought you knew better than the million people out there trying to beg you, warn you. And again, every one of you government workers, it's real hard to have sympathy for you because Leon and Donnie were sold as a package and they told you, we coming in with a wrecking ball. But again, every rube heard that and they heard, they only going to go after the liberals and gays and blacks, right? That's what you heard. Nope. You on the chopping block too, son. And you voted for it. Oof. The firing took her completely by surprise, even though they said they were going to fire everyone prior because she had the highest job performance. Do you think that ever matters to a CEO or a company? What your fucking eval says. Oh, son, you're so naive. No, here's what she really thought. She thought she was special. I got great performance reviews. Well, that could just mean you kissed ass or blew the boss. Who knows why you got those numbers, honey? We don't care, actually. What we cared about was you not selling us the fuck out and selling yourself out. Too late for you. Hopefully some of us can survive this bullshit. She's done. Fucking idiot. One of 100 I've presented to you. Not one of them sincerely sorry for what they've done. All they're sorry for is they got fucking shit canned, and now they want support from you. And I bet they all have a goddamn GoFundMe and the whole fucking charade after they fucking stabbed us all in the back by making this happen. Now they want to cry about it and beg family and friends and people online and go on CNN for sympathy, for help. And you want us to rally around you when you literally are the reason, you're the cause that woman got kidnapped off the street the other night. Do you fucking people realize that? And one day it might be someone you care about or you that gets kidnapped off the fucking street. That's where this was going. Again, the brown-skinned illegal immigrants, that was just to open the door, son. Now we're going to see how many people they take through the door that aren't just illegal brown-skinned immigrants. Not that that's right either. I'm just saying that's what you people thought. Boy, were you fucking wrong. Anyway, I digress. Just so we're clear, you don't annex Greenland. You declare war on Denmark and NATO and realign the U.S. with the worst villains in history. Yes, we use these words like annex and, go for a visit and blah, blah, blah. No, we're buttering up the world and them to steal their property via violence. So just like this person said, you're not annexing Greenland. That's not what you're doing. You're declaring war on Denmark and NATO and realigning the U.S. with the worst villains in history. That's what you're doing. And you know it. And that's what they're going to do. We're already aligned with Vlad. Yes, know your parasites. This joke has been used on a lot of things, but it's never been truer than this. And this is on a side of a bus stop in England, I believe. And we have ticks as the first one, we have worms, and then we have billionaires. The people that love to call others parasites as they have their hand out to the government. Can I have another billion? Another billion, please, Daddy? Because I can't make it on my own. Even though I'm on the cover of magazines and I brag about how much money I have, and you see me drive around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis, I still have my fucking hand out. And we accept this. No greater parasites than these people. And two of them here have taken a shit ton of Russian money, Zuck and Leon Scum. Economic parasites remove with wealth tax. Billionaires are the third parasite. No, they're the ultimate parasite. On all of us. On the animal kingdom, on the human kingdom, on it all. My God, the hoarding of wealth and resources. today. And I know the myth is Leon, Zuck, and Bezos, they just work so much harder than everyone else. They deserve the 400 billion. Fuck you. No one believes that but an abject cunt. Nope. Born to privilege. 2 out of 3. I'm not sure about Zuck's young life, where he came from money-wise. But the other 2, filthy rich from breath 1, son. That's why they where they at today. Plus a goddamn lot of welfare. More than all the single mothers combined has gone to Leon Scum. And he ain't done yet. He wants plenty more. We're going to subsidize SpaceX and Tesla for forever. It's the only way they'll stay open. And Russian money and Saudi money too. You know, pumping up that, falsely inflating that stock that's actually worthless. Only way those companies will survive is with welfare. It's the only way they've survived thus far. Here's Rubio on the detained Turkish student. We revoked her visa. We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. Again, this woman that they just kidnapped off the street, Rubio and his people, all she did was write an article. She didn't tear up any fucking campus. Again, just meaningless, vague platitudes that don't even apply to the situation, and that's a fucking answer, and that's good enough for you people. For a woman with a visa being kidnapped off the fucking street by masked scumbag brown shirts and taken 8 states away. Again, I'm not hearing a crime here, son. I'm hearing a lot of lying and false comparisons, though. By a guy named Rubio, for fuck's sake. So again, what he's saying doesn't even apply to this person. And he gets awful indignant and mad when he talks about it, too. As if he's the righteous one. These are the most unrighteous people ever. In fact, they're part of the final regime, the Antichrist regime. That's how unrighteous these people are. They're the ultimate unrighteous people. And this is just the beginning of the evil that they'll do. That's how dangerous they are. If we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. Well, that girl didn't do that. She wrote an article, fuckface. What now? Guess she can get out now, right? Oh no, you got something to prove to Israel. So Donnie can say he's God in some temple in a year or 2. That's where the story goes, and you see by all the planning and the Signal app chat and all that bullshit, it all leads right to Israel at the end. Tim Pool, a right-wing influencer who has paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to spread Russian propaganda during the 2024 presidential election, has been added to the White House press pool. Yes, known paid shill for Russia and his people added to the press pool at the White House. That's where we at. We're also at the place where every single platform continues to platform this scumbag, run ads for him at the top of my fucking feed with Russian money, of course. After we all found out, the whole world knows, he's a paid shill for Russia. And so all the other people in that network that are all still broadcasting, by the way, on pretty much every website. So that's how important the Russian money is to the websites. The adjudicated criminal Google that owns YouTube, Facebook with Zuckerberg, Instagram, Twitter with Leon Scum. That's how important the Russian money is, where even after we all are told and the whole world knows and finds out, indisputably, that all those people took Russian money and spouted the Russian talking points, they still keep them up. They still run their ads. They still take the Russian money. That's how deep this shit is. And now, they're not only platformed on every social media app that alleges to care about America and shuts other people down that aren't paid Russian assets or shills. Now they get platformed in the White House as well. So what does this tell you about Donnie Krasnov? Yes, he's been owned by Vlad since 1987, and Vlad, or excuse me, Donnie is Vlad's orange bitch. Always has been. This is another piece of evidence right here. Known paid shill for Russia, allowed in the press pool. Indisputable, don't even argue it. Why bother? Oh, this is Stephen Miller. What we are witnessing in the district courts is a far-left judicial riot. Wow, the judges are rioting now, according to the Nazi. A radical group of Marxist judges, wow, they're Marxists now. Wow. Is emboldening one another and smashing down the pillars of democracy. No, that's Leon and Steve and Donnie doing that. Always projection. They always project the evil, the literal things they're doing onto other people. That's why they called everyone pedophiles all the time. So they're calling it a judicial riot. Yes, they're all getting really mad with the the rulings in the courts. And I told you, they're going to go full fascist and they're going to disregard all of these rulings at some point. They don't have time to deal with 6-year court fights. That's not where this is going. This is going to where judges get arrested and impeached. This is going to where Hitler took it, where a whole wing of politics gets arrested. That's where this is going. Where territories get annexed and World War III is started. That's where this is going. To Israel with a temple and a resort. That's where this is going. And we have the literal, one of the head Nazis here, using a phrase, far left judicial riot. And it's so sad that abject phrases, or excuse me, phrases that are abject pulled out of people's asses that mean nothing work on you fucking people. My God, that's so sad. And that's one of the phrases, far left judicial riot. That's fucking absurd. And smashing down the pillars of democracy. No, that's what Leon's doing, Donnie's doing, Steve's doing. That's what Mitch did his whole career. That's what Reagan was doing back in the day in his way. Trickle-down economics. Unbelievable, the projection from the MAGA cult and the Nazis, the head Nazis at the top. It gets worse. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth brought his wife, a former Fox News producer, to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed. According to multiple people who were present or had knowledge of the discussions, yes, it does get worse. Now his wife's getting to listen to classified material while Pete sits there drinking gin. Also, Pete's brother got hired, Phil Hegseth, and went to Hawaii with him just recently. So let's get this straight here. Pete and Mike Waltz and all the other traitors literally invited a reporter to listen to a straight up strike package that was going to happen in like an hour. And the whole plan involving Europe and the Suez and the waterways, and that it's really all about extorting Europe and Egypt and other places for access to those waterways. On top of that, after he utterly reveals classified information to a fucking reporter, what's the next move for Pete Hegseth? Oh, let's hop a flight with my brother, the nepotism hire, who has no experience whatsoever. Let's hop a flight to Hawaii on taxpayer dime. And then when I get there, I'll deny the allegations that I shared classified info and war plans, when that's literally what I shared. So after he shows us that he's utterly incompetent and literally shares utterly classified material, next move for Petey and his brother are to go to Hawaii on taxpayer dime. Gee, I wonder why they went to Hawaii. I'm sure it was really pressing, important business. And not just a vacation for a drunk and his brother, neither of which deserve the position they have or are qualified for the position they have. As they and others yell the acronym DEI all the time. Isn't it ironic? like Alanis says. Isn't it ironic? So his brother's hired, his wife sits in on classified discussions, reporters are invited into classified discussions, and it's real stressful with all that incompetence. So let's hop a flight to Hawaii on taxpayer dime. Why not? Why not abuse the position utterly and totally? And hire your brother who's not qualified and then, charge a taxpayer a few $100,000 for a trip to Hawaii, if not more. This is a person named Rep. Don Bayer, and I think I called him Dan Bayer in my posts. Forgive me. We've heard concerning things about the Social Security Administration lately, so I decided to check myself. SSA says Wednesday is the best day to call, so I called then. He called Social Security live on camera. I posted the link to the video in the post section. Their system told me there would be a 2-hour wait time, told me to call back, and then just hung up. You got to hear all that happen on the phone call. And that's exactly what they told him. They said there's a 2-hour wait time. Call back during these times for a better chance. Spend these days and these times. And then it said, well, you can do things online and do this and do that. And then it just hung up. That's the state of Social Security right now. And they're going to gut it. Like half the fucking staff at least. Offices closing down. You know the objective of this, right? You dying. That's the objective of this. Making it as hard as possible to get those benefits. And it was already hard in the first motherfucking place. Do you have 2 hours to spend waiting on the end of a phone line? Do you have all day to call Social Security over and over and over again, hoping to get through? No, you have a life. They make sure you got to work 2-3 jobs to keep going or whatever you got going on. They make sure you stretch yourself so thin. Now you have this to contend when you want to finally take a break. That's if you live that long. And that's also every social system. That's what they bank on. You dying before the retirement age. That's why the retirement age is 65 and not 45. When you still got some life left. So he literally did it on camera. You got to see the whole thing. You got to hear it. And he got no service. He accomplished nothing. And if he wanted to accomplish something, he would have had to wait 2 hours. But the phone line won't even let you stay on it for 2 hours. It just hangs up on you and makes you call back later. And it's going to get worse. And they want it that way. And they like it that way. And the cruelty is the point. And you dying's the point. Or you not getting your benefits is the point. Some people have already been cut off and had to fight. And hopefully they got it back. I'm not even sure how many of them did. Doge said one guy was dead that was still alive. They're so eager to confirm that lie. They literally made it happen by saying a guy who is living is dead. Measles cluster confirmed in Western Australia. WA Health has reported 5 measles cases tied to a local cluster with airborne exposure in community settings. 5 cases, not much. But again, I'm just giving you the updates because they don't want you to know this information, literally. They're hiding it from you. That was one of the first priorities. Because again, Donnie and Leon know who they are. They knew a lot of plagues and horrible things were going to happen. And plus, they intend a lot of people to die via the cutting of services, aid, all kind of economic incentives, trading partners ruined. The plan is death, son. What do you think the beast and false prophet and dragon are? They're naught but death. Death. Here's the evidence. Mr. Lutnick or Nutlick, Commerce Secretary, said the other day, and now Leon saying almost word for word the same thing. So this is a talking point for you rubes as they rob you blind. Musk. You know who complains the loudest and with the most righteous indignation? The fraudsters. And I gave you part of this quote yesterday, but now I found the full quote. And I want to make sure you understand the full scope and gravity of this. One more time, Musk. Again, this is a centibillionaire daddy's boy rich kid who never had to work a hard day in his life, got more welfare than all the single mothers in America combined. Always remember that. Oh, and he's the Nazi salute guy, too. You know who complains the loudest and with the most righteous indignation? The fraudsters. Well, why's Donnie and Leon complaining every day, all day? Leon's the one right here in this interview crying with the Doge team that we're not loved. No one cries more than Donnie Shitbags and Leon Scum. They are both bitches to the fucking 10th power. And I mean bitches. They do nothing but cry and complain. Even though they have all this money and privilege. What you so mad about, son? Oh, that's right. Satan's your daddy. You're never going to be happy. And Bear, again, Brett Bear, in a rare moment of humanity and righteousness, says most people are concerned about the 94-year-old that doesn't get her check, though. Yeah, that's real. Not an oligarch's lie, Peter Thiel's lies, Leon Scum's lies, Miller's lies, Howard Nutlick's lies. These meaningless fucking talking points spoken by abject privileged people that are nothing but frauds. Every atom in their body is fraud. And they dare say people that complain about fucking with Social Security and other government programs are the fraudsters. Meanwhile, if the philosophy is the loudest bitch is the fraudster, no one's a louder bitch than Leon. No one's a louder bitch than Donnie Shitbags. So what does that tell you? Via their own philosophy, via Mr. Nutlick's philosophy, they're the ones crying every day. I guess they're the bitches, and I guess they're the frauds via their own wisdom. One more time, I want you to hear this again. You know who complains the loudest with the most righteous indignation? The fraudsters. That's Leon. Bear. Most people are concerned about the 94-year-old that doesn't get her check, though. Yeah, she starves to death while Leon eats gourmet and tugs one into a cup for his next baby mama. How fucking dare he say these things? This entitled cunt. Bitch made of his daddy, born rich. Nazi cunt. The reason I went over this again is because it reminded me exactly of what Lutnick said the other day, or Nutlick, excuse me. Howard Nutlick. And what he said, I have it right here. Here's a picture of that whole scene. I posted it again when it happened in the link to the video. There's Nutlick, the one with the legs crossed, like a true entitled feminine cunt. Probably gay too, like the rest of them. And again, I got nothing against gays, but when you persecute gays while you're gay in the closet, I hate your guts. That's how I look at you. Because that tells me something about you. So here's exactly the quote from Lutnick. He was talking about his mother-in-law not getting her Social Security check. She'd think something got messed up and she'll get it next month. She wouldn't complain. A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining, the billionaire businessman said. The billionaire businessman said. Again, one man got labeled dead and had to fight for his shit to get turned back on. I don't know if he was successful in that quest. God knows when it's a 2-hour wait to speak to somebody on the phone. One more time, a fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining. And how did Leon put it? You know who complains the loudest and with the most righteous indignation? The fraudsters. And then Brett let him know that he was true scum, destined for the motherfucking lake by saying most people are concerned about the 94-year-old that doesn't get her check, though. Yeah. You know, like regular humans would be. A normal human that's not a sociopath wouldn't laugh about people getting cut off of Social Security, because that's dire, man. Some people, that's their only fucking income. I don't like the thought of people starving. I know a lot of you scumbags out there do. You laugh about it. I don't like it. Even Nutlick and Leon, I wouldn't want to starve. That's how different I am from you. And don't worry, they're going to get what's coming to them in the after. They don't need to starve now. They're already dead. I told you, God sees time as one moment, not before, now, and after. It's all now. So to God, the people that were crossed out of the book, they were dead before they took their first breath, they were dead. In other words, Leon's dead already. Nutlick is dead already. Donnie is dead already. Vlad Putin is dead already. And so many more. From the time before they took their first breath, they were already dead. One more time and let's close this bitch out. Always remember this from Mr. Nutlick, and how coordinated and almost word for word these talking points are. Again, these are the talking points of parasite billionaires as they rob people on Social fucking Security. You know what you thought the liberals were going to do to you all your life? No, your people are now doing that to you, and they always were. They always talked about it. You never heard any of that either, all you geriatrics out there, did you? All the times that the GOP said, yeah, Social Security could be on the chopping block. We hate entitlements. We hate welfare. We hate socialism. Unless my business is about to close down, then I'll take the check. Or there's an economic downturn, then I love socialism then. That's what they all say as they cash the check. What's been the GOP platform since Reagan? Let's gut these social programs and get that money to rich. They've been saying it every time. You've continued to vote for it, though, even though you're an old person on fucking Social Security. Again, people voting against their own interests because they're voting it that way for another reason, despite what they tell their neighbors and friends when they lose their job because of it or lose their Social Security because of it. And they stand there like babes and I was fooled. No, you weren't. You liked the hate. You liked the cruelty. You saw it. It appealed to you. And that's why you voted that way. Every single one of you. I know. So all those bullshit lies you tell on CNN, why you did it, or your friends or your family, once the shit hits the fan, once the Gestapo comes knocking at your door or takes away your job, you learn nothing. And you're still the same person. And that's what disappoints me most of all. And that probably disappoints God even more, I assume. Where he shows you all the blasphemies, all the abominations, all the crimes, and he shows you the righteous man and the wicked man. He shows you the man willing to make nearly the same sacrifice that he made with his son. You heard him say he's going to gut social programs. You heard the GOP say it for decades and decades. You heard Leon and Donnie saying they're going to cut the fraud, waste, and abuse and gut the government and go on a revenge tour. You liked it. That's why you did it. Now it's coming to bite you in the ass. You never thought it would. I always knew it would. What I didn't know was stupidity, rubery, and greed at the top would literally incarnate or usher in the end of everything, the end of America within years, not decades, the end of the world, the end of the world order, the new world order, literally. Again, that's what you people have ushered in. You don't get a pass this time. You got passes for hundreds of years on this bullshit. Now the fucking bill is due. I'm sorry to break that to you. I take no pleasure in it. This is not fun for me. But it's fucking critical. It's the most important moment in all of our lives. Right fucking now. And we best get our heads right. Because it's going to World War III, unfortunately. They're showing all the indicators. They ain't hiding it. It's going to Israel via a resort, removing Gazans. It's going to U.S. being allied with Russia, our literal enemy. It's already gone to every ally we've ever had. Alliances built over hundreds of years are all gone, every single one. It's going, and it is already at where you're being dismantled and looted. And you're going to be left vulnerable and ripe for an attack. And I would not be surprised if that attack came and if certain people allowed it, because that's the goal. It's also going to a place where the world currency will be replaced with a digital one that says fight, fight, fight on it. And guess what letter the letter F is in the alphabet? Count it out. Count it out on your fingers. Fight, fight, fight. What letter, what number does the letter F correspond with when you start counting from A to F, and A is 1? Where do you end up? Fight, fight, fight. That's where you end up. And you will have a choice whether to take the mark, take that coin, and participate in society or not. You'll have a choice to live or die. Going to be the hardest choice of your life. But what will happen to you if you make the wrong choice will be much worse than what will happen to you if you make the right choice. Anyway, I don't want to go too much further into it right now. I've done that a lot. It's late. Until the next episode, make the right choice. Don't be a part of this anymore if you are. And if you've never been a part of this or you've turned away, thank you. You've done yourself a great service. Haven't done shit for me, but you've done yourself a great service. And that's all I'm here for, honestly. Have a good night. Until the next episode.